What if the richest families in history didn't just hoard gold, they hid it in plain sight, using secret networks that outsmarted kings, survived wars, and turned chaos into even greater fortunes? Picture ancient rulers stashing wealth in temples where no one dared touch it, or merchants spreading their riches across oceans so no empire could seize it all. These aren't fairy tales, they're proven tactics that shielded billions from collapse. But here's the hook, the most shocking secrets come at the end, modern twists on these ancient tricks that could protect your money from today's hidden threats like frozen accounts or sudden crashes. Stick around, by the finish, you'll know exactly how to apply them yourself and stay one step ahead. Beneath the splendor of prosperous eras lies a subtle reality: prosperity has always been vulnerable. Not during the height of great powers, not amid revolutionary upheavals, not even in the seemingly secure periods between major conflicts. From the opulent courts of early civilizations to the grand estates of classical times, those with substantial resources played a distinct strategy compared to the masses. They realized that currency, in forms like metallic pieces, agricultural yields, or property deeds, represented more than mere accumulation. It was a tool for influence, a safeguard against uncertainty, and a means of endurance. While average individuals placed faith in prevailing structures, the affluent mastered ways to shield themselves from those very frameworks. The key puzzle isn't how they amassed fortunes, it's how they preserved them when surroundings crumbled. To uncover this, consider the origins of concentrated prosperity. In that era, having means wasn't about vast reserves but commanding essentials others couldn't access. In the urban centers of an ancient river valley region around 4,000 years ago, prominent traders and leaders didn't simply hoard precious elements in secure spots. They linked them to religious institutions through advances, agricultural rentals, and exclusive commercial paths spanning waterways and arid expanses. Rulers from prominent settlements intertwined their holdings with spiritual centers, which served as early financial hubs. These sacred sites weren't solely devotional, they acted as protected repositories. Attempting to claim such resources would provoke divine displeasure, rendering elite possessions immune to political interference. In a neighboring civilization along a mighty waterway, similar methods prevailed during its formative and intermediate phases. Affluence was preserved more in enduring physical holdings than portable currency, productive territories beside the river, storage facilities for staples, mineral extractions in distant areas. These proved difficult to appropriate without undermining the entire governance. Leaders employed preliminary versions of protective arrangements by assigning lands to sacred domains, guaranteeing inheritance for descendants despite administrative changes. As a prominent landowner there, concerns over value erosion or monetary failures were minimal, holdings centered on soil that yielded sustenance in a society where nourishment was the premier reliable asset. Moving ahead to the vibrant trading hubs of a Mediterranean peninsula around the 5th century before the Common Era, a fresh tactic emerged: spreading assets for flexibility. Commercial operators in key ports and islands built empires through sea voyages. They grasped that internal strife or invasions could obliterate holdings confined to one location. Thus, they maintained reserves in various independent communities, committed funds to seafaring vessels, and forged ties with financial intermediaries in far-flung harbors, even reaching African shores and northern seas. This resembled contemporary external storage, achieved through strategic placement rather than concealed ledgers. If one hub succumbed to rivals, an astute trader could relocate and rebuild swiftly. That classical powerhouse elevated this concept further. Prominent figures, including council members, military leaders, and a prosperous business stratum, were acutely aware of governance shifts' perils. They witnessed authoritarian ascents and descents, asset seizures during power struggles, and complete losses for political missteps. Their response combined variety, strategic alliances, and sway over economic mechanisms. The most affluent avoided concentrating everything in one form. They acquired territories across distant regions, secured revenue collection agreements, and extended credit to overseas monarchs and municipalities, secured by dominant forces. By positioning holdings outside immediate authority, they buffered against domestic appropriations. Certain ones relocated movable valuables, shiny elements, gems, artistic pieces, to secure havens away from adversaries. In essence, they diversified not just investments but governing domains. As that vast dominion waned in the 4th and 5th centuries of the Common Era, a telling shift occurred. With central enforcement weakening, prominent lineages redirected from state-related possessions to concealed personal ones. Rather than financing the central coffers, which might default, they focused on secured properties, independent defenses, and direct exchanges with neighboring groups. When the core administration dissolved, official reserves depleted, yet those families retained command over territories, provisions, and labor forces. The regime vanished, but their strategically placed resources endured. The era following brought fresh obstacles and innovations. Across the continent from the 11th to 15th centuries, affluent traders and aristocrats leveraged religious institutions as both repositories and defenses. Rulers often appropriated rivals' belongings for campaigns, but contributions to monastic orders for intangible rewards remained largely inviolable. This allowed families to temporarily entrust assets to such establishments, reclaimable or overseen via trusted figures. Prominent financial dynasties in a Renaissance hub blended this with nascent transfer documents, enabling borderless movement without transporting valuables prone to theft. A member could face ruin in one locale yet thrive elsewhere, as capital existed as recorded entries in remote centers. During a flourishing period in the Middle East from the 8th to 13th centuries, advanced safeguards developed. Traders in bustling hubs employed an honor-based transfer method, a trusted web for relocating funds sans physical conveyance. It depended on personal integrity and lineage standing, rendering it nearly impossible for authorities to intercept holdings in this manner. Affluents also committed to expedition groups, immovable properties, and enduring commercial exclusives that yielded returns amid turmoil. The core mirrored predecessors, disperse vulnerabilities, position beyond one leader's grasp, and conceal portions from assessors. Even as unified governments strengthened in the 16th to 18th centuries, affluent groups evolved. Key commercial clans and maritime powers tied their prosperity to state expansion while securing advantages. They acquired public obligations, equipped vessels for conflicts, and offered vital advances for special rights and reliefs. This rendered them indispensable, immune to seizure. Regimes might burden ordinary citizens heavily, but these interconnected operators saw their sway and holdings expand during upheavals. These instances collectively reveal that safeguarding prosperity hinges on two pillars: command and separation. Command involves retaining elements that produce worth irrespective of surroundings, territories, commercial paths, essentials. Separation ensures those elements span diverse setups, authorities, and mediums, preventing total loss from any occurrence. Ancient prosperers comprehended what many overlook today: holdings solely within formal structures face peril. This insight resonates profoundly now. We navigate an era of rapid digital appropriations, where authorities can immobilize holdings instantly, values plummet abruptly, exchanges lose vast portions weekly, and gradual rises erode buying capacity steadily. Past elites avoided entrusting all to governance, and neither should contemporary holders. Modern equivalents include global spreading, enduring valuables, varied holdings, personal safeguards. Though methods evolve, the foundation persists. Patterns recur, assumptions of permanence blind until disruption strikes. Historical figures preempted by reallocating and anchoring enduring merit. This embodies true economic liberty, not mere possession, but guaranteeing endurance through tempests. The core takeaway from Prosperity's chronicles is clear: structures favor those adept at navigating around them. Others discover belatedly that protected holdings were never fully controllable. If this reshaped your outlook, subscribe. Precedents illuminate paths forward.